Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Intersection. In this exercise, I'll go over how to construct a Pushdown Automaton PDA for the language that will accept any numbers, equal numbers of zeros, an equal number of ones, as long as there is a zero and then immediately followed by at least one. So the language that accepted is 0, 1, is a 0 and then followed by a 1 immediately. There's no empty string in between or anything, just 0 and 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 0, 1, 0, 1. And I'll show you why 0, 1, 1, 0 is not accepted. So these are the strings that are not accepted: 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 1, 0, 0, and 0, 1, 1, 0. And of course, if we're dealing with a 0 followed by a 1, so how many states we have? We have a 2 plus 1, so the size of the states is 3. So here's the diagram that will for this problem, for this exercise. And as you can see, always when you have a Pushdown Automaton, this here is pop, and this here is push, and pop, push actions. So as you can see here, I have we're using the Michael Sipser's book, so we're following its conventions. Other books that are different. Other books that would have only 2 states, actually, not 3. But we're doing the Michael Sipser, so that's how he does it. We're going to follow his guidelines. So at the Q0, we have we're not reading anything. We're just, the first action, we're just pushing the marker. So we will have our stack like so. Here is what we did in the first action. We pushed the $sign and popped an empty string when we see an empty string. And then in the second step here, now let's take an example of a string here. Let's say our string is 0, 1, 1. So as soon as we read the 0 here, as soon as we read the 0, and as you can see here, we're going to pop an empty string and push the 0. So at Q1, we will have in the stack, at a Q1, we will have 0 stack like that, 0 and the marker. And then as soon as we read the second 0, we do the same action. We will pop an empty string and push the second 0. All right, now we have we don't have any zeros anymore. We're going to be reading our first one. When we read our first one, we will pop a 0 and push an empty string. So our top stack will be like that. Okay, so it was before like that. Now at a Q1, it will be after we read the first one. Now when we read the second one, this second one at a Q1, we will have popped the second 0. Now we no longer, this is the end of our string that we're looking at, and now we don't have any empty. We're reading that the top of the stack is the $sign. When we read the top of the stack is the marker or the $sign, we pop it and push an empty string, and we reach the acceptance state. Let me show you how these transactions we can in writing, and I will write them down for you. Here's the transitions that we just did a minute ago, and I showed you step by step how to do it in writing. So at a Q0, we are looking at an empty string, so we're pushing the marker. So at a Q1, we will have the marker on the top of the stack. And then when we read the 0, when we at a Q1 read a 0, and then we're seeing the marker on the stack, we will push a 0 into it, so we will have a 0 and the $sign. And then when we read the second 0, same thing, we're going to have 2 zeros and the stack. And now we exhausted the zeros, we go to the 1, we read a 1 and then pop a 0 and push an empty string. We read another 1, pop the 0 and push the empty string. Now we are exhausted the ones. Now we're going to go here, and then when we go to this step, we will be popping the marker and reaching and pushing the empty string, and then we are reaching the acceptance state. So why did I say 0110 is not accepted? So let's do a new stack, and let's place our $sign. That's the beginning at a Q1. So Q1 we will have the $sign. So let's say we're testing for 0110. Now we're going to be reading the first 0 here. As soon as we read the first 0, as you see in this here, we will pop an empty string and push that 0. So we will have our first 0 right here. And then now we will see we will read the 1. As soon as we read the 1, we will pop out this 0. So our new stack will be like that. That 0 is popped out. Now we read a 1. We don't have a 0 to pop, so the empty string will still there, right? Because there's no. Then we move to, when we move to the last 0 here, we will then push the 0 back into the stack. Because of this here, we will pop an empty string and push that 0 there. And now we're at the end of the string, so we will never be, remember a stack, we have to read it from the top. We can't read the bottom. We cannot read the marker there, so we have to read on the top. So therefore, this is not satisfying. This is not acceptable. That will not reach the accepting state. Okay, last thing I want to do, not last thing, the one before the last thing, I ask you to do the states. The states are very clear there. Q0, Q1, and Q2. The sigma is 0 and 1. The gamma is 0 and the $sign, our marker. Other books, they will have a Z there, our marker. And the Q0 is, or the starting state is still Q0. And then the final state is Q2. Now, I ask you to tabulate this, like put it in a table format, or as you did before the exercises in a table format. What I did is I kind of like I invented to a degree a better way of doing it than what you see in page 114. And I'm going to show you the page 114 for a second. So what I did, I took this row and I stretched it column wise. And I'm going to show you my way of doing it. You don't have to do that this way. Any way you do it, I will accept it. Please note, I add this to describe, to give you a description, so when you read it at home, it will make sense to you. So, but this is the important part, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do it this way, you will do a current state, an input symbol, and the stack top, and the next state. Why the stack top is important? Because you can see that we can only pop or push into the top of the stack. We can't go below the top. That's the by the definition. That's what a stack is. Next state, and the state is the stack operation. I made a mistake on this early in the tape, so I fixed it. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Bye bye now.